Hey guys, today we're gonna be going through what is on my vision board. And in fact, when I was making the vision board with Ami, I didn't really put what I was visioning for 2025. I just put whatever I was inspired by on this board, and I felt like it was much more accurate to the person that I would be next year and so forth. And today I wanted to explain each and everything I put on here and why I put it on there. And I think if someone watches this video all the way through, you will understand who I am in a way that only two other people in this world understand. And that understanding is the reason I am the way I am today, right now, because of these inspirations. And if I wasn't impacted by every single one of these pictures and words, then I would be so much different today. I would just be so much different. And every single thing on this board speaks to me so much personally, but let's just get into it. Today, y'all will find out who I am, basically. This is the last take. Okay, so this all starts back in 2020 when it was COVID and everything was going offline or online, and there was spring break just kept going on forever, and we had no idea what was going on. And during that time when I was in high school going through like this whole phase of confusion, one of my grandparents actually passed away, and it was a really big moment for the whole family, but especially me, because as soon as he died, you realize things that you don't really realize when they were alive. And what I realized was that my grandfather was one of the people in my life who treated me with the utmost respect that anyone ever had. It isn't respect that comes with sir, mister, that comes with words. It's respect that comes with the way that you treat another person, which is like, you treat their opinions with respect, you treat their values with respect. And my grandfather did that. And when he died, I realized that I didn't do that for myself. In fact, I was the complete opposite to myself. I never did that to myself. I never respected my opinions, my values, or anything. There was a moment where I was sitting in my room and I was crying, thinking about all the memories that are just deleted because he has died. And I realized that all those memories, although they mattered to me personally, like, they don't matter that much. The thing that really mattered was me respecting myself. Because even after he died, if I don't start treating myself with the same amount of respect that my grandfather did, then he's actually dead. And when that thought came into my mind that this is the one part of my grandfather that I need to keep alive, I knew I had to change everything. And it started with respecting myself. And that started one of the craziest arcs that I'm still going through right now. But at the core of it, it was, and it still is, it's not letting my grandfather die. So that was number one. And then we go all the way to, I guess, number two. It's small. And this was Limitless. And it's not that big of a book. It's not super popular. It's not super amazing, glamorous either. It's honestly a very simple book. This guy named Jim Kwik talking about his experience with this accident and also not having the best academic life, and him talking about his struggles with learning and how after everything he's been through, the one lesson that helped him the most was that, I don't know how to describe it, but it was just this growth mindset where he was like, people can learn. And during this time, when I was in 10th grade, listening to Physics 1 online, not giving a shit about what the teacher is saying, I had a very limited mindset in the terms that I could go to school and learn, but I didn't have the ability to like introspect and change myself on a very like self-help basis. And after I read that book, everything changed, because I realized that I could make mistakes and I could learn from those mistakes by myself. And that was a really big realization, even though it was very subconscious at the time, which then started everything else. And it started with self-help, and I got so into it. I got so into the 4-hour work week, and then the feel-good everything, the productivity, the time management. Ali Abdaal was my best friend during that time, and I had another best friend too, and his name was Healthy Gamer Gigi. And a lot of you might know him because he does a lot of psychiatric stuff, but I was so engrossed in what he was saying because I had a love for psychology. But at the same time, he would start his webcam and just start talking about how a certain problem that people go through and how they feel. And one of the biggest videos that hit me at the time was this video about the lack of an emotional awareness. And the medical condition for this is called alexithymia. And essentially it's this condition where you're basically like going through life and you feel emotions, right? But whenever you feel those emotions, usually people are like, you know what, I feel happy, I feel sad, I feel guilty, different feelings. But people with alexithymia don't know what they're feeling at any point in time. And when he was describing it, I was like, whoa, that's weird. Like, how do people not know how they feel? And then the next morning I woke up and realized that I never knew how I felt. Growing up in pretty orthodox household where there's gender roles pretty much assigned, and I'm pretty confident about my sexuality, but the thing is, I grew up in this culture where guys act like this, like men act like this and girls act like this. And emotions and being able to talk about your emotions and emotional regulance, like all of that is girl stuff, and guys don't really do that. It's not like my dad sat me down and was like, don't feel emotions, son. But I just never saw him cry. I just never saw him express any emotion other than anger a few times. And that's it. And I guess I learned that I shouldn't be feeling emotions at all. And I wouldn't. I had no idea what I was feeling at any point in time. And I started this whole journey with learning how to feel my emotions. And I would be like, I think I'm supposed to be feeling happy right now. And sometimes I would be like, you know what? I think I'm supposed to be feeling angry right now. And for the first 2 months, it was me really just gaslighting myself into what I was supposed to be feeling. And soon it just kicked in. And now I have such an affinity towards, I have such a clear radar of, oh, this is what I'm feeling at this moment in time. Anyways, that was the second phase of, oh shit, like I can learn. But with that comes a really big third phase that comes crashing down, dude. And I don't even know where to put this because it's all around. I guess we'll put it beside Healthy Gamer. And it was this whole phase of insecurities and avoiding what I was really scared of. And there's a lot beneath that. There's a lot, like obviously, you know, feeling beautiful. Like I never felt beautiful. That was something I had to learn, and I tied worth to how intelligent I was, how seemingly intelligent I was. I tied worth to so many things, and even now I still struggle with insecurities, and everyone does. I'm not saying, oh shit, like I've solved it, but this was the first time that I recognized that I was insecure about something. And that first thing, which I still really struggle with right now, is this feeling that I'm worthless if I'm dumb. And I recognize that from a Healthy Gamer video, which is why I put it beside him. There's this feeling that I'm worthless if I'm dumb. Yeah, I'll talk more about that later, because that's a big picture for insecurity. But then after that, I forgot what number 4 was. Oh, number 4 was Kanye West. No, number 3 was film. That was still number 2. Okay. Oh, number 1 was Limitless. That was number 2. I'm sorry. Okay, number 3 was the GOAT. The GOAT Kanye West, dude. To tell you shortly how Kanye West has turned my life upside down would be quite impossible. But if I had to sum it up, it would be this one thing that he said in his documentary about, he probably made it back in 2000. And he was sitting in his room 3 years before he was signed and 4 years before he was famous. He said, there shouldn't be no way for me to lose, really. He was making music and he was like, I think this is amazing music and people just might not recognize it yet, but if I keep going, if I keep doing it, there shouldn't be no way for me to lose, really. And in a time where self-doubt was like an everyday thing and every hour thing, to hear someone be so confident in what they're doing and confident in how the world works, there shouldn't be no way for me to lose, was really weird to me. Really weird. Like, when I heard it, I was like, what the hell is this guy saying? Obviously you can just oh yeah, obviously, yeah, if you keep going, you'll succeed. Yeah, and that's how I felt back in the day. I was like, dude, like, obviously you'll just fail if you what? And I realized there was only two things that go into success. Success in anything. And one is the obvious cliche, which is never giving up. And number two is always learning and iterating. If you have those two things, you will always succeed. And having that, being able to have that, Kanye West gave me permission basically to have this amount of self-confidence, and I'll be eternally grateful for Kanye West. And he says this in his interviews too, where he's like, if you're a fan of my music, you're not a fan of me, you're a fan of yourself. Because his words, his lyrics truly are the handbook to confidence, dude. To not even confidence, to understanding what it means to be confident. And I'll be eternally grateful to him. And this was also the time when I was getting into business, so business and film, and that's why there's so many film stuff with Cole Kerwan, Casey Neistat. This video of him doing the marathon within 3 hours, I've watched millions of times, and it has inspired me so much. More on that later. Life of RZA, even your mom Ashley. Oh, she started a business, dude. Crazy shit. Mr. Beast, dude. But Mr. Beast is different. It was actually a really big task to talk about everything on here. There was a point after I started going into business and everything, and I don't know how close I am to the camera. At that time, after I started my Millionaire series, yeah, let me just post the podcast and then we'll make an actual video. But look, back in about a year ago, okay, I hope you can see me. About a year ago, it's been a year since I started my Millionaire series, and I'd gone rejected so many times, dude. And, it was humiliating. I was in this client meeting for Prospect, and I was told to get out, and she just started scrolling on Facebook, dude, and I never felt so humiliated. And after getting rejected, not as bad as that, but similar to that so many times, I broke. I didn't know what I was doing. Kanye West said that. He was like, there's no way for me to lose, really, but I just couldn't. I didn't know what it meant to win. And it was this really weird time where I just didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, what? Like, never giving up seems easy, but then how do you never give up? And it was this one lyric from Champion that changed everything. And I was in my car and I was, driving down like my street, and I was almost home and I was listening to Champion. And, dude, I was literally about to cry. It was 2 weeks since I made this video where I was like, you know what, I'm giving up on being a millionaire. I was too naive, and I just hadn't posted it because I was scared that if I posted it would become real, and I just wanted to ignore it, dude. I just wanted to ignore it. And he says this one lyric where it goes, "But it feels like living's harder than dying. For me, giving up is way harder than trying." And I thought about it. I was like, what do you mean? If you're running a marathon, it's easier to give up in the first mile than the 26th mile, right? How is it easier to try than to give up? And it didn't make sense. I was thinking about the whole car ride back. It didn't make sense. I was 10 minutes away from my house, and I think at a certain point it just clicked where it was like, I was so miserable in the moment, thinking about giving up and everything. And I realized that when I was actually trying and getting rejected, that hurt less than me. Giving up hurts like a bitch, bro. I'm telling you, when you give up on something that you really care about, you become a shell of who you are. And I don't say that lightly. When I was going through the toughest 2 weeks that I probably did in 4 years, Kanye West telling me that not giving up isn't about like willpower. It's really just this understanding that the alternative was worse, dude. Giving up is like the worst alternative than actually trying. And when people realize that, you can never give up. Honestly, and at least consciously, you can never go up, because the pain of giving up is just way too much. And that's when everything changed. That's when I really got into Kanye West, and I listened to shit that he says every morning, because I need that reminder that the alternative is worse, and there just shouldn't be no way for me to lose. If I just keep going, there shouldn't be no way for me to lose. And I still listen to his songs. Today I was on a run, and I was listening to his first album, College Dropout. And dude, just hearing him in the morning at 5 a.m. just on a run, when there's no one outside, you feel like you're on top of the world. Because it's this moment in time where you are truly a fan of yourself. And that doesn't happen often. Thank you to Kanye West, dude. Next, I got really into film at this time too, with Cole Kerwan, Casey Neistat, as I said, getting into editing and film. Oh, I love film. Talk to me about lighting. Oh shit. Talk to me. The A24 films are amazing, but talk to me about like post-production, even like how they were on set. Everything's just so interesting. Ami is actually in the industry, and I love hearing her stories about set and everything. It's just a really huge hobby of mine, which is why it's on here. And it's also inspired me to do more and to follow that inner child to do more. Okay, number 5 is crazy. Oh, I didn't put film on here. Where would I put this? Put it beside. Oh, this was the first video that inspired me to start editing. Snowboarding with the NYPD. Because it was just such a fun video, dude. I have no idea how else to describe it. Okay, and then, now we're gonna talk about the third door. The third door essentially changed the way that I think about the world. Okay. You know how everyone's like, get a good job, be middle class, get a good job, that's what's safe, right? Getting a CS job, then getting married, that's like the safe path, is what people say. And I believe that. I don't know how I believe that, which I'll get to in a second, but I believe that there was a safe path. But safe is really weird to say, because millionaires are safe. They have wealth that compounds on itself, and they don't need to work. They can just do nothing and they'll be alive. That's safe. But a middle class person could lose a job and they wouldn't be safe anymore. That's financial security. But we're talking about risk averse right now. So like safe means to be risk averse. And I never thought about it, but essentially, okay, let me just get into it. The third door has this beautiful metaphor, which is that if you're trying to get into this party, and there's this bouncer who you can't get in, whatever, and there's a huge line in front. He's waiting for people to leave so people can get into the pub. There's a huge line in front, and okay, there's a huge line in front, and let me restart. I'm sorry about that. Let me restart. Okay. The third door has a beautiful metaphor. And the metaphor goes like this. Imagine you're trying to get into a party, and there's a bouncer and there's a huge line outside. Okay? That's the first way you can get into the pub. The second way is, if you're a celebrity, you just walk right through. Because you have the status and you just walk right through. But what no one talks about is that there's always a third door. The third door is when you go around the back and you knock on a door, you knock on a window, you like crack open this like door, you try to get in. Somehow you just try to get in. And what's really beautiful about this book is Alex Bunyan, who wrote this book, he's gone on this crazy journey where he, his whole goal was to interview everyone who's successful and figure out the secret sauce to success. And there's one thing that is common with every single person who succeeded. And it was that they left the line for the first door and they found it their door to get in. The most beautiful story is Steven Spielberg, who you guys might know him as the most renowned director in like history. E.T., Jaws, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park. He made all of those films. But when he was 19, he was a nobody. He in fact got rejected from film school twice. And after getting rejected the second time, crazy for him because he had amazing not giving up. But he moved to LA and he took a community college there because he wanted to physically be in the space of film. And there's a tour for the University Hollywood Studios bus. And he gets on the bus and he's looking around because he's so interested in film, right? He's a fanatic about film. The bus stops in the middle for a break. And he jumps off and he hides behind a bush. And he sees the bus drive off and he just gets up and starts walking around. And this 19-year-old pimply-faced kid who obviously just does not belong there. Universal Studios, dude. Does not belong there. And this guy, who happened to be Chuck Silvers, the vice president of Hollywood Studios, stops him and he's, "Hey kid, you obviously don't belong here. What are you doing here?" And Steven Spielberg just says the truth. He's like, "Hey, I'm 19, but I'm a fanatic about film. Like, I absolutely love film. I just want to learn. I just want to know more." And Chuck Silvers, he takes a liking to him. He sits down with, he invites Stevens for another 3 days to Hollywood. He gives him a 3-day pass and he's like, "You know what? Come, learn from a few people, and hopefully you take away something valuable." So next day, puts on a suit and got his belts, briefcase, and he walks in. He's, "Hey Robert, hope you're having a great day." And the second day, same thing. Third day, same thing. And on the fourth day, he has the same suitcase, same suit with the lint rolled off, and he walks up to the guard and he's like, "Hey Robert, hope you have a great day, man." And he just walks right through. And he does that for the next 4 months. Next 2 months, actually. And he learned so much. He would be asking producers out to lunch. He would be talking with directors, actors, editors, colorists, audio designers, audio engineers, and just anyone and everyone that he could like just osmosis the knowledge into from. And at a certain point, Chuck Silvers is, "You know what, I love you, dude, I love you, but at some point you gotta stop learning and start doing. So take a few weeks, take a few months, go make a short film and come back to me." And Steven Spielberg, Chuck Silvers becomes a mentor to him, and he listens to his mentor's advice, and essentially he goes out and films this beautiful film called Amblin. And it takes 2 grueling months and different scripts and different actors and different people, but he eventually gets it done and comes up to Chuck Silvers and shows it to him. And as Chuck is watching this, it's a 22-minute film, and at the end, a single teardrop rolls down his cheek. it was just so good that he didn't expect it from a new director, right? And he immediately calls up the production director of Hollywood and he goes, I have a film you need to see. And he's like, hey, come on. Everyone tells me that I have 20 new films I need to see every day. He's like, no, you have to see this one. If you don't see this one, someone else will. He's like, is it that important? Chuck Silver says it's that important. The next morning, Steven gets a call from Hollywood Studios and he rushes over there with his suitcase, whatever, and there's a paper on the desk signing him to be the youngest director in major Hollywood history. And there's so many pieces in that story. He obviously had talent. He obviously had to never give up. He obviously had to have the charisma. But do you not think that there were other people in LA at the time who did not have all three of those? The reason why Steven became Steven Spielberg is because he jumped the bus, is because he went in the fourth day, is because he asked people out to lunch, is because he just took the third door. He didn't wait in line. And that's such a huge lesson. And the reason why that impacted me so much was because I was truly just waiting. I was doing business and everything, which seemed like a third door. And a little more context on what the doors are is that the first door is the line that curves around the block, is when you're just doing what everyone else is doing. And it's cool, like it's secure. I'll say why I said it like that, but it's secure, sure. It's safe. It's not secure, it's safe. But there's also not gonna be, like, you probably won't get into the club. You have to wait until the whole line is over. And once you're at the front of the line, a lot of times what people realize is that their dream that they thought was at the end of the line wasn't actually at the end of the line. And that's how I've been living my life, dude. I thought I would be a computer scientist because I just loved coding, and I thought that would be, I thought I just had to wait in line and I'll get there. I thought I just had to start a marketing agency and now I'm in line. Like, now I started it and now I just reach out and then I'll get it. But what I didn't realize is that if I was just gonna do what everyone else was gonna do, I was gonna get what everyone else was gonna get, which was honestly nothing, dude. If I was gonna start a business, I had to take the third door, and I'm still learning to do that. But that book absolutely changed the way that I thought about everything. That book, there was this one paragraph that impacted me so much. This was right after I decided to take my gap semester, and I had essentially like a whole year of just working on whatever I needed to work on. I'd hated checking boxes, but now that they were gone, I realized how much I'd relied on them. Only later would I learn how pivotal these moments are for anyone who sets out to start something new. Many times the hardest part about achieving a dream isn't actually achieving it. It's stepping through your fear of the unknown when you don't have a plan. Having a teacher or a boss tell you what to do makes life a lot easier, but nobody achieves a dream from the comfort of certainty. And when I was going through those 3 months, when I was just watching Netflix all day, this was the first time that this allowed me to consciously recognize what I was doing and make my own checkboxes. And that's a skill that I've learned and I will never forget because of that experience, of course, but also because he helped me recognize it. And it's here, by the way. These quotes are from that book. And yeah, finally, to top it off, I know it's been a long tangent of stories, this, that. There's so many things on here which I wish I could talk about every single one of them. My voice is going away, so I can't. But essentially what I realized is that part of life is, like achieving your goals and pursuing them with all you can. But you burn out really easily, which is why Feel Good Productivity comes in. So this is Alex Bunyan. And 6. Actually, I might put that here. I watched this one movie called Inagran Ke Mainde, and I absolutely love the movie, but essentially it's about these 4 people, a Telugu movie, and they just go all of a sudden to film a movie. And I come back to that movie every so often when I feel a little lost, I feel a little burnt out. Essentially, bro, it's important to build a business. It's important to make money. It's important to never give up. Your dreams are really important, and achieving them is all the more important. But it doesn't matter if you're not having fun. Because success is just doing more of what you're already doing. And if you don't like the process, then fuck. The destination is going to be all the more worse. And Jacob Collier talks a lot about that in his podcast with Colin and Samir. My first client for editing, PDK, he said this thing in his vlog, which I was editing. He said he went on this whole trip with his friends into the mountains, and on the day that he was coming back, he was like, I dearly miss working. And it was such a open moment, and that's why he can go on forever, he can work for so long, is because he loves it. And my friend Avanish, my best friend, dude, he does stocks, and I absolutely love the dude, and he has taught me so much over the years. But something that he really taught me recently is that he was doing stocks, and he was like, dude, I spent every single second of the day on stocks, dude. Like every 15 minutes I'm checking it. I sometimes sleep at 7 a.m. from 3 to 7, just looking at stocks and then being like, oh shit, I gotta go to sleep. And he's doing amazing on stocks. And I realized the difference between him and me, when we both started at the same time with business and entrepreneurship, is that he loved it. And I was losing my passion for it, dude. I was losing my passion for it. And he was like, he just loved it. So he was doing amazing. And I realized that if I actually wanted to succeed in everything, it didn't matter if I was doing all the time. Let's go. What actually mattered was that I was actually having fun. And obviously learning alongside it, but without having fun, I will never win. There's this one quote, I have no idea who said it, but essentially it goes like, you can never compete against someone who's playing, because you can try really hard, you can put in all the hours that you possibly can, but when you're competing against someone who thinks it's a game, they're always going to play more than you. They're always going to play better than you, because they're learning so much faster than you because they like it. And they're going to play forever. So, okay, you win for the next 2 months, 2 years. What about after that? They're always going to win, and you just can't compete against someone who's playing. That's also why I made this, because I was like, dude, let me just spend some time with my best friend. This was with Ami, not with Avanish. Avanish is also my best friend. I'm just so proud of who I am today, and all of that would not be possible if my grandfather did not die. If I never recognized my insecurities with Healthy Gamer, if I never gave up on being a millionaire, if I never read that quote, when I feel like living is harder than dying, for me giving up is way harder than trying. If I never read The Third Door, if I never got into film, if I never got... Alex Hormozy was such a big inspiration. And right now, I am not good enough for my dreams yet. There's so much more to do, there's so much more. But I'm damn well gonna have fun with it. Because I love it. I love this, dude. I absolutely love this. And if there's anything you can take away from this, I have no idea what it would be, but yeah, I have no idea. I'm not even gonna try to summarize it. But I am incredibly proud of who I am today and the journey that I've gone through it. There's only 1%. So much more to go through. And I'm looking forward to the rest, dude.